They do know that if they can do all of this, it will open up the place, it will create more prosperity, it will create more jobs, and yeah, you could probably be on your way out of poverty for real. But because it is Nigeria, no, they can't let that happen. No. You don't understand what you are talking about. If we should do that, this country will break up anytime soon. Okay, it's not breaking up. But now they do Bambiala, left, right, and center, the giant of Africa, with so much potential, but yet is a crippled giant of Africa. You criminalize self-determination, and yet you kept the people in bondage, divided, and they will always want this contraption to break up because of the marginalization, because of the state-sponsored profiling, which is called the Cold War with the Igbos. You are keeping Nnamdi Kanu, militarizing the eastern part of Nigeria, funding different groups to be unleashing terror on the same people, so that you can blame them for whatever it is that is happening there, as if to say there is actually no government anymore in that contraption, so to say, which obviously there is not. The man suspected to have used his own private, he denied it to Ifeanyi Uba, the man accused to have used his private jets in kidnapping Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. He died in London a few months back. His body is now in Nigeria, and his friends, politicians gathered to pay their last respects. One of them is Rochas, who used the same time to plead. He used the same occasion to plead with Tinubu to please release Nnamdi Kanu. Let the supposed the eluded peace of eastern Nigeria be restored. Okorocha.
Thank you. Okay. As we round up this night of tribute, let it be known to all men that life is an inexplicable pattern of mystery, where no man knows when he was born and when he will die. And this notorious fact is deeply rooted in the fact that every man is created by God with his works, and the talent are the guides. For no man can grow above or beyond his destiny. For every man's destiny has a relationship with God. So let it be with Ifeanyi Uba. Let it be with the Nnewi-born politician. Let it be with our brother. Let it be with the great philanthropist, the great leader, the motivator. Let it be the lover of mankind and citizen of humanity. May his soul rest in peace. And to you, the Ubas, madam, and your lovely children particularly, I have not died before, and I don't intend to die soon. But let me say something, that I do know that the Ikemba Ojukus, the Kwemes, and these great leaders of note who have left us, since the spirit never dies, I'm sure, they are having meetings somewhere. And I can only imagine what kind of meeting is saying. And their meeting is Undibo. And Igbo, hear me, what is the likely thing these leaders are discussing now, including the youngest of them all, Ifeanyi Uba. The question they're asking, Igbos, why do you play the politics of hate? Why do you hate one another? Ojukwu recalled his quarrels with Ekweme, and now they say it is vanity. Iwanyan recalled his quarrels with Enwerem, now they are in one place. And so, they are asking Igbos, may you embrace peace. Another thing that happened that is common with these great men is that governor, before the death of Iwanyanwu made a plea to Federal Republic of Nigeria. Ezife went to Villa and begged Nigerian nation. Ifeanyuba made a statement in the same line. I want to say to you, my brother, in whom I'm well pleased, Senate President, convey this one message on behalf of these Igbos who are seated, that the best way to honor this great young man is the release of Nnamdi Kanu. So that the Igbos can go home and reorganize their place. And I know you, Senator Akpabio, that even if you don't want to do it, send this message. For the sake of your wife, who is our daughter, send this message and get us a result. Or else, your wife is not too far from taking back home. Your Excellency, Mr. President, we are particularly happy that you are always coming to associate yourself with things like this. Nigeria still remains very grateful. Thank you, and God bless all of you. My people, my people.
My people, my people. And then people will respond, my governor, my governor. That is Rochas. Orocha. Listen, I could have used the normal name we call him, but because he spoke so clearly and beautifully, that's why I didn't call him the, Rochas or cockroach, Rochas, cockroach or Korocha or Koro Hausa, as many will call him. He spoke so clearly, like it didn't say much than to just remind everybody that whatever we created, whatever calamity we have brought upon ourselves, there is actually going to be a way out. And that way out is to free Nnamdi Kanu. He has done nothing wrong. There is nothing Nnamdi Kanu said about this contraption that many of us have not repeated or said worse. He never killed anyone. He never threatened anyone to warrant you to want to lock him up, because there is, there has been so much bloodshed perpetrated by the Fulani terrorists. Not a single one of them is on trial today. Not a single one of them anywhere. Rather, the criminal politicians from northern Nigeria continue to defend them to the point that they have given them a ministry. So even if you don't like Nnamdi Kanu, as much as a lot of you are struggling to attribute all kind of wrongs against him, you are blaming a man they locked up somewhere for the insecurity in the eastern part of Nigeria today. Some of you are convenient. It's not new. Some of you are conveniently looking for him being hanged, but you are missing the point. The only missing link to the peace in the East is to free an innocent man that you conspired politically to lock up, and see if you can lock up his idea or his ideology, and then pretend that you don't care about the East, because they don't really care about the East. But there are Easterners, there are Eastern elites, Eastern politicians who should actually be like, use every occasion to call yourselves out. Be an innocent man. And then shift your politically sponsored violence in the eastern part of Nigeria. Shift it. Or it will consume a lot of you that you can't even imagine. So that's why I didn't want to call him that Rochas and all of that stuff, okay? He spoke eloquently, and yes, I know his own history too. Just that Nigeria wouldn't have done this to Nnamdi Kanu without the support of all these criminals, the likes of Devulu Mayi, who is sponsoring the restlessness in the eastern part of Nigeria today. Hopeless Uzodijo, sponsoring the terrorism in the eastern part of Nigeria today. If these two people, well, thinks that they are in the good book of Nigeria, they will be sacrificed someday. It is Nigeria, like Nnamdi Kanu said, serve Nigeria and you will return back in disgrace. It's just a matter of time. So an innocent man, so dreaded, so feared by the supposed powerful Igbos, is being punished, locked up somewhere for asking the Igbos to leave this contraption. So yeah, talk to yourselves and let him go. Right? So the other day we had the news that MC Olueran, who had a kangaroo election where he contested against himself and he declared himself winner. Only for another court, appeal court is called, came out and gave a ruling that MC Olueran call you the mad deal. And somehow, yes, this judiciary is already like, compromised. But on this particular one, you the mad deal. You are not the president of NURTW. There is a man called Barua who legitimately actually defeated MC Olueran last year, only for MC Olueran to go and conduct his own kangaroo election. I don't know if this video is new or old, but somehow it made it to the internet this morning. And they said that the same office that we saw MC Olueran took picture last week as the new president of NURTW has now been emptied of all his personal belongings, waiting to be transported back to Lagos. Have you seen this?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello, ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ni Adesa. Hello? Mi gbọ́ kan tó sọ o, kò gbọ́ nǹkan kan. Hello báwo? Olu anything. Ẹ padà síkò. So I say this one will go work this time. You have to wait till 2026. That is when they will have another, 2028. That's when they will have another election. Is it for 4 years? I think it's for 4 years. It's got to be 2027 rather, 2027. That's when they will have another NURTW election. Not every year election. Waiting the worry MC. Anyway, again, it should have probably not be our business, none of our business. But since we spoke about it when MC Olueran was flaunting it on our faces that he's going to be in charge of the INEC sensitive election materials, especially coming, they are coming 2027 charade, seems to have been like a foregone deal, but it seems not to have been forgone after all. So that's why I had to put that in front of you. Do you know that Eulogy of Ogun, the dubious Dapo, has arrested that man, Adebutu? Yeah, the DSS picked him up yesterday. Just exactly what dubious Dapo said. I told you not to come out on election day. You came out. We shoot at you, you shot back. In this Ogun state, I will show you. That's exactly what he did. He said those policemen guiding Adebutu, they are fake policemen. That when his own thugs shot at Adebutu in front of his house in Peru, Ladi shouldn't have replied. He shouldn't have responded with another gunshot. That makes him a criminal. And DSS picked up Adebutu yesterday. Power. There's something to say. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Dubious Dapo making this mouth yesterday. And by yesterday's evening, that guy has been arrested.
The chief security officer of this state, and the only one. You hire thugs, hoodlums, cultists, and illegal policemen. You bring them into this state. And you have the audacity to go to a polling unit to attack and attempt to assassinate a vice chairman of the local government that I, the government, come from. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. In the process, those that were there voting and others immediately intervened and they captured one of the policemen and disarmed him. Can you imagine that? And the policemen came there and chased all of them and then chased them into a particular character's hideout. Of course, the CP was informed, SSS was informed. Immediately they went there. But the instruction of their superiors, they said, go and apprehend all those illegal policemen, disarm them and bring them to the room. Because this nonsense has to stop. Again, I promise, I will demystify you on this table. Because it's not enough. The chief security officer of this state, and the only one. You hire thugs, hoodlums, cultists, and illegal policemen. You bring them into this state. And you have the audacity to go to a polling unit to attack and attempt to assassinate a vice chairman of the local government that I, the government, come from. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. In the process, those that were there voting and others immediately intervened and they captured one of the policemen and disarmed him. Can you imagine that? And the policemen came there and chased all of them and then chased them into a particular character's hideout. Of course, the CP was informed, SSS was informed. Immediately they went there. But the instruction of their superiors, they said, go and apprehend all those illegal policemen, disarm them and bring them to the room. Because this nonsense has to stop. Again, I promise, I will demystify.
Nuisance, Lele.
You see the detention. Dubious Dapo. A lily-livered coward, a very little man, in high office. That's how they describe him in Ogun. They said he's a little man, a very little thing, who found himself in position of authority. As a chief security officer, how we make sure. God damn it, man. Yes, you would. Because this same guy, you remember when they almost beat him up. Almost some people. They almost beat him up at the stadium in Abeokuta. How many of you remember that day? He was hiding. Amosun people, they won't beat him. Amosun was governor. They don't cheat Amosun. Adams Oshiomole Adamu has removed shock from what do you call it? From Amosun's to G. They've given the ticket to Dubious Dapo. Amosun de para. So Bokwari was in Abeokuta to campaign in 2019. Dubious Dapo was supposed to be the APC governorship candidate. They said, you were on, you know. That same Dubious Dapo is now acting as an emperor. Your time will come and gone. Where is Amosun today? This is the guy he arrested. He said, I shared the update on that charade they called election. Remember? That's what they called election. Okay? Where out of 5,000 something polling units, Over 4,000 polling units didn't have anything called election at all. But they declared winners. And he said the guy attacked his candidate, a vice chairman candidate, which is not true. This is actually what happened. For the record, that is the front of Ladi Adebutu's house. In Ogun State, the dubious Dapos are slickers. They are calling Ladi Adebutu a very desperate politician. They are all rogues, they are all criminals in their own right too. Here you get. But dubious Dapo ordered all opposition to never come out, not to come out on the day of election. He told them categorically to stay away, that this is APC election. They must stay away. If they dared him, he will show them. Some of them actually stayed away. Those who didn't stay away, they beat them. They beat them silly. They told Ladi not to come out on the election day. And he was like, hey, me, Kimajade, nijo election. Kimajade, I should not come out in my own fatherland. What kind of a thing is that? I will come out. I will come out. And he went out. And boom. Ladi said, thugs. They started shooting at him. His own policemen responded. And those are the policemen that are now called illegal policemen. This is the front of Ladi Adebutu's house.
said his voice down to Ladi Adebutu's house. Follow them.
Follow for them. Come attack us.
Put them on video.
Put them on video. I put it on the air. We get together.
Wọ́n di mọ́ lélẹ̀ ní. Wọ́n yọ ìbọn sí ọmọ mi. Àwọn ọlọ́pàá mi wọ́n confront wọn. Nígbà tí àwọn ọmọ wọn lẹ́yìn mẹ́rin tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí yìnbọn, àwọn ọlọ́pàá wa dá ìbọn padà. Wọ́n dá ìbọn yẹn padà. Ọlọ́pàá yẹn wà lọ́sibítù sí i nítorí pé ìbọn bà á. Ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n yà mí lẹ́nu o ìgbà tí Nàìjíríà ti sórí kodò. Ìṣe máa ń bèrè pé kò yẹ káwọn ọlọ́pàá yẹn wà ń ta ní ọjọ́ election. Ṣé ọmọ mi kò bá wà ń ta káwọn mẹ́rin yẹn yìnbọn pàdánù ni? Kọ̀ọ̀kan kẹ́wọ̀n ọ̀gá ọlọ́pàá kó máa wá èèyàn mẹ́rin tó ń gbébọn kiri lọ́jọ́ election. Wọ́n sọ pé kí ló dé tí àwọn ọlọ́pàá tó láti máa wà níta gbangba lọ́jọ́ election. Wọ́n sórí ìlú yìí, wọ́n sọ kodò. Kọ́ bá mi wá èèyàn mẹ́rin tó gbébọn tó kọ́kọ́ gbébọn tó ń yìnbọn kiri ẹ̀ kó yẹ kọ́ bá mi wá wọn jáde. Wọ́n sọ yẹn nídìí èyẹn lọ́wọ́ wá bí lọ́wọ́ fi ọlọ́pàá dé mi mọ́lé pé Dàpọ̀ ní kó wá mú èmi wá. Ṣùgbọ́n mo ní pé kọ́kọ́ wọnú compound wá mú mi kọ́kọ́ lọ gba warrant wá náà. Kọ́ lọ gba warrant wá kó tó wá mú mi fògiri wọlé. Tó bá wọlé illegal èmi náà máa máa ṣe illegal. Nítorí èmi náà ní fundamental human right. Ṣé níbi tó ọ̀rọ̀ yìí lọ yìí mélòó wá kú ẹnì jogun? But the truth of it is, if you don't allow people to pursue their rights legitimately, they will start to seek those rights illegitimately.
So last, Ladi is currently with the DSS. And on the accusation or allegation of attempted murder. Yeah, he's been accused of attempting to murder somebody. And he's likely going to be taken to court by the DSS. He will do the same thing, no? Because last, if he becomes governor too, if you have been a regular follower of the politics of Ogun State, this is the pattern, okay? So if he becomes governor, he is also going to do the same thing to those he considered as his own political enemies. That is the reality of my people in my states.